Hello, this is Carlos from Costa Rica. Today we're going to be reviewing vlookups and how to use the function with true or one at the end of it. Um, I'm going to be using on a spreadsheet and the tab that I used previously to show how to use vlookups. So this is the deal. I would like to know to which group each of these size classes belongs to, and the groups are designed based on the quantity of items I have. Like you see here, I have different quantities for each of them. So the thing is that my groups are divided by ranges. So for instance, the L1 group, it's those size classes that have between 1 and 5 in quantities or numbers. Level 2, it's 5 to 15, level 3, 15 to 30, and so on and so forth till up to 200. So the thing is that I don't have an exact number here that matches, well, maybe a couple, but not all of them matches the numbers that I have here. So using regular VLOOKUP won't work. So what I can do is using VLOOKUP with a true statement or um, a true or a one. Again, we usually use 0 to get an exact match, but since we don't need an exact match, we're going to be using true or 1. So what happens here is that basically the VLOOKUP is going to look for the common factor, which is 5, in this list, and instead of looking at an exact match, it will look the ranges. So it's pretty much a way of identifying a number between a range. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to enter our formula here. So there are two ways of doing it. You can start typing your formula there, or you can click on function, insert function, and click on VLOOKUP, which is the way I like to do it. The lookup value, it's going to be the quantity of items I have. The table array, it's going to be all of the range to the right where the result I want is. We're going to anchor that. Remember, you click on F4 to anchor that range. On column index, remember we need to count the number of columns. And if you paid attention, you will see it was the number 3 was going to show up here. So I'm going to enter 3 here. And then remember that we usually enter 0 or false here. Instead of doing that, we're going to enter 1 or true. And what's going to do is that it will basically look for it and review between the range. It's between 1 and 5, then it's going to be L1. If it's between 5 and 15, it's going to be L2, and so on and so forth. So let's test it. Let's click on OK, and let's drag it down. Right, it actually worked. Excellent. So, and you see there is this message here saying formula omits adjacent cells and stuff like that. The reason for that is because when I was creating this VLOOKUP, instead of selecting only the cell right next to where I'm putting the formula, I selected the whole range. So instead of doing that, let's start over again. I'm gonna write the formula directly instead of using the function um, dialog box. So I'm gonna start with equals vlookup, open parentheses, gonna enter here, comma, table array, and you see the number 3 there for the column. That's the number we need next. Oh, remember we need to anchor this, comma, that's where you enter your number 3, and comma, it's going to be either true or 1. I'm going to enter 1. There you go. And I'm going to drag it down, and you see that message is no longer there because I only selected the cell next to it. And since it's not anchored, it's going to move when I drag it. So it actually did. So for me, this was very eye-opening when I learned it because I've been using VLOOKUP for what? Oh, a very long time. And I never understood uh, why we weren't use it true, or why the option was there if I couldn't find a use for it. Now understanding this, it makes it a lot clearer for me, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be super clear and eye-opening for a lot of people. Um, uh, like yeah, I haven't seen this being used in the past, uh, and seeing this working, it's pretty amazing, and it will reduce a lot of work for you when you want to use VLOOKUP to review ranges. So I hope you learned something new today and that this is something that helps you. Thank you and have a great weekend.